Hello, Commanders, and welcome to the rngendgame, a podcast about the game Marvel Strike Force. Your hosts are Frid and Creative. We're leaders in an alliance from a large cluster, and would like to share our insights with you to hopefully improve your gameplay and overall experience, and give you a little entertainment.
All right, Creative, here we are, another week of the show, and we're going to start with our gear and leveling focus for the week. I did a inhuman amount of blitzing again. Can't help myself. My auto method, I think, is helping. May have to cover that again. But I have 28 million in Corvus Glaive because I don't trust those predictions anymore. So I exceeded it by a lot, and I'm glad I did because I think they were short again. But I was way over, rank 500. So I got my top 2,000 in, and it's looking very good for a 4-star Corvus after this blitz. I have a 5 red star. I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but just wait, I guess. The other thing was Crystal is on the arena store, so I obviously have had a stockpile of credits, started spending them on her, and I already got her to 5, as well as Karnak, which means I have Ebony Maw secured already. Next step here is I'm going to keep farming to see if I can get to 6, and I feel pretty confident about that. We'll talk about why a little bit later on the show. In terms of gearing, I got the Inhumans up to Black Bolt T14, Yo-Yo T13. Everybody else is tier 11, 65. I think Crystal is going to get some more love, but it's we'll see when I keep getting stars on her. I got to tell you that, just to reiterate from last week, Black Bolt is like a different game. I can't believe the difference that it makes everywhere. And I'm having your experience of when I'm playing other teams. Why are these guys not dropping? Where's the kill shot? Oh, that's right. Black Bolt's not here. It's a glitch. No. You just need Black Bolt. You just want to have him everywhere to do that. Yeah, it's crazy. I am thinking, I don't know about this, that I want to get the 7th star on him, the red star. So that could be possible next month early when the Chaos Theory comes back. I will have enough credits. I just need to make a decision. We talk, Creative and I, about... I get paralysis every now and then. You know, this big push to Black Bolt was great, but then I was like, what do I do next? And I kind of got into... different paths. You know, the hand event was coming. Should I do something there? Which I'll mention, I did it the 6-star version. I got 100 ABCs out of that, and didn't need to gear them that much. They were about 119. But anyway, we talked about, okay, after that was next. So he looked at the roster, and the power armor needed a little bit of love. So I got him all to at least 65 tier 10. Iron Man is the weak point, being that is he the worst part of the team? Probably. And he needs love. He's the only one that's not 7-star for me because I'm missing a member of that Shield team to unlock him. The one candidate there is Shield Assault. She's getting a blitz, I think, this upcoming week, so maybe, but it's not going to be enough, so I'll see what's going on and whether I want to spend any investment on a 7-star Iron Man. Then the next thing I'm going to do here is something that has been coming on and off my list, and that's what I call the Mutant Misfits. It's Toad, Blob, Sinister, and Strife that came in and broke up all these teams, and they're not farmable. I mean, Sinister has been out for a little bit now. Strife is farmable, finally. I have a 7-star that I can get him to. I haven't done it, but I have the shards from the Blitz store. I think it's time. I think these teams are great for war defense, and they can destroy some of the meta defense teams. It's just that it would mess my Brotherhood, but I'll just bite the bullet. I have a bunch of mutant gear, so I'll take care of this now, and we'll see with Black Order and mercenaries where that takes us. And then, of course, Premium Orb Watch. I opened everything that I got, and I got 0 Minerva or Yo-Yo. Creative, how are you doing on this?
Yeah, so the premium orb watch will start there because it's a big fat zero for me as well. 2 weeks in a row, my 2% chance is not coming through as expected. But from a farming perspective, I finished off my Inhumans. I finished my other two priorities, which was getting the power armor team in sync. I'm no longer paranoid to use them in war because rescue and some of the others are higher, so that's great. And then I got my Hydra up to bare minimum kind of level for war defense. So all that's done, and now I gave you the similar path to what I'm doing. I am going to do Toad and Blob so that I can take out at least mid-level Coulsons, and then I'm looking at maybe the Supernaturals. And I've been using our version of the Zeratul spreadsheet and looked at what do I need to just do Toad and Blob and Supernaturals and a little bit of Brotherhood. I only need 6,000 T2 training mets and 400 ABCs. So I'm stuck in my usual bottlenecks. I've got gold for days, and I can't spend it on things that I want to because I have no training mats and ABCs. So for the ABCs, I just couldn't bring myself to start farming up. I think I only need one more character to get to 6 and a little bit of leveling to get that whole big 15 more ABCs a month. Help me out, Fox Next. But I did notice, and I was very, very excited about this, almost peed in my pants. The raid orb for Alpha now has ABCs in it. So I hope they do this for all the Greek raids. It was fantastic. I got super excited when I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the training mats, I don't have your content creator beast mode Captain Marvel that just blows up everything. So I have played the Training Day Challenge at least 60 times to no avail.
And so I was like, oh yeah, I got it last week, Creative. Here, very easy.
There you go. Here's my 100K Captain Marvel that just, poops on everybody. No, so I've been trying Black Bolt, and he gets cloned, or Hela gets cloned, and so it's a very tough challenge. I've had a lot of trouble with the Training Day ones. I couldn't get it. So yesterday or whatever day it was, I think it was Thursday, I just autoed my 3 on that level. And I'm talking about tier 12, the highest tier. So woe is me, I couldn't get to the highest tier. So I'm still getting more, which is great, but this is a huge problem for me in terms of mats. Outside of that, Shuri is coming on Monday. It's a character that I have 5 red stars on, use every day, and use 7. So I'm feverishly trying to get Mysterio to 7 yellow stars. I need about 30 more shards for him. And then I would get my 7 yellow star Shuri, so I'm excited about that. Black Bolt decided to make an appearance in the Red Star store, so I did purchase his 6 red star. That is still my first and only 6 red star, and
welcome to the club, buddy.
that I had to purchase. So yes, I got him. As you said, Fred, he blows stuff up. He's awesome. I love him. But he's even better now. He's keeping me easily in the top 10 in Arena now. So I'm getting more Arena credits, more cores, which is awesome. And then, I keep waffling on what I'm going to do after Toad and Blob. I keep talking about Supernatural or some other things. And I've talked to some of the guys in Hell's Hounds. They're a top 100 alliance. We've got a couple guys that are a little whalish in our alliance, and they have Spider-Man Symbiote or Symbiote Spider-Man, and they're using him in U7, and he seems to dominate. So, I can easily get the 60% one-shot practically everything through that with Black Bolt, but I'm very, very tempted to look at Spider-Man Symbiote just to make it even easier. So we'll see. So that's a lot of my news and on the farming and leveling front. Let's switch gears to the news.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
And we'll talk about Taskmaster first. So we talked that he was coming to the game last week. His campaign event is officially in the game. It will start evening U.S. time on Friday, so morning for Saturday morning for our international folks. And we're going to talk about running the numbers and his unlock and what you need to do for that a little bit later in the show. As always, I looked at the characters that you need to use for this campaign event, and they make no sense whatsoever, thematically or anything. There's 7 random Shield members. There's 3 Inhumans and Yo-Yo and Quaker as that, so they overlap with Shield. 1 X-Man, 1 Asgardian, 1 Brotherhood, 1 1 Supernatural, 2 Hydra. I mean, they make no sense. So it's just this weird selection as always. But we have pretty high characters in that list. So I'm not too terribly concerned about the event. I will say that they made Yo-Yo a character that you can play for the event, but she decided not to show up in the orb. So Foxnex continues to rub salt in my wound and not give me the Yo-Yo shards that I want.
There's a couple others that meet this.
Minerva's in there too.
Minerva and I think Red Skull.
Yep. Oh, yep. So
they couldn't even throw it like low percent, like a premium. Like, no, there's just not. So not there at all.
Not at all in there. So anyway, we did look at Taskmaster's kit this week, and like every new player, he looks ridiculously strong. I mean, if you go through his kit, it's just one thing after another. On his basic and assists, he steals buffs from the other team. He stuns characters and chains offense down with his special. His ult, he blinds 2 characters. He applies bleeds. And if that wasn't enough, on his passive, he gives he does assists for all the mercenary allies. He makes himself stronger with offensive up, and he makes the whole team do more damage. So, I mean, he's just crazy ridiculous in terms of his stats. I really do think Foxnex has a competition to see who can write the longest passive text and abilities. Cause
it's like a wall of text, yes.
Yeah. You just scroll and scroll and scroll. But yeah, he's got a ton of crazy stuff in it, so he looks like he's a really strong character. And to go along with them, the mercenaries did get some rework. So Bullseye is now wannabe Punisher in war, that he's going to do attacks when his allies do non-attack abilities, but I still think he's not very good. Merc Lieutenant now is going to be a healing machine. He does a lot of passive healing when he or adjacents get attacked, and he's going to give even more energy now from his, I think it was his basic. I went against a 80k Merc Lieutenant in war, and he was unkillable. He's the last character, and every time I'd attack him, he would heal himself. So, as I'm always excited about healers, I got a little more excited about this team because of that. And then, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will mention the Merc Riot Guard in war now is going to block more than Captain America. That just doesn't feel right. That just feels so wrong.
Poor Captain.
I tell you, no love for the man.
The shield helicarrier, he can't do anything. He just Riot Guard is better.
Yeah, Riot Guard is now a minion is better than the man that was part of the multi-billion-dollar movie series that basically is the reason we play this game. But anyway, I can't bring myself to really like this team in terms of thematically or otherwise. The fact that they're a war defense team is still annoying, but Taskmaster's strong. Riot Guard's going to taunt every other turn and just block everything, and then Merc Lieutenant is going to heal. So, that alone is enough to justify focusing this team. It looks like yet another very strong war defensive team to annoy your opponent. Fred, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week about this whole focus on war, specifically war defense and why they do this. But yeah, I mean, this is power creep at its best, right? This is how you rework a team that maybe needed some attention. You give a leader that's awesome and makes everybody better. So I guess that's one way to do it. I'm not sure how I feel about the team, and I haven't decided if I should go in. I mean, I got a 5 red star one. We'll talk about that in a second. But that may sway me to focus on these because everybody else is farmable. I have a 5 red star Bullseye as well. So even though I may not personally want or be too excited, it seems like the stats are telling me, and I'm mainly a defensive player in war, kind of all point to, you gotta work on this team. So yeah. You're gonna like it, whether you're gonna do it, whether you like it or not. So.
Hey, do you know how many red stars I have on my Bullseye?
No, 5.
0. He's one of like 3 characters that I've never gotten red stars on.
Yeah,
so.
No, but I say that, and that's the best place to get red stars, right? On blasters.
Yes.
Because the damage.
Yeah.
So when he's assisting, he's going to be great. They're all skills, so we have Black Order coming. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
The thing is, these guys are going to be more farmable right away, so we can't compete with Wales in terms of Black Order, right? Because we're not going to spend on already Proxima's gone and Corvus. I'll get 4, and that's it. And then it'll sit there for 3 months. So, I think I'm going to have to do this.
Okay.
That's bottom line.
Okay. What else this week? PvP came out. And so, if you haven't done it, go find an alliance mate, click on them, do the verses, do 5 matches, and you get something ridiculous like 18 red star orbs. So I found it a lot of fun. I think the mode has a lot of promise. I want to see where they take it. I'd love for them to throw away Blitz in its current form and do something else via PvP. That'd be great. And then Frid, you and I, of course, played each other, and I, drubbed you pretty handily. I showed you the power of the healer controller over damage dealers. But what did you think? Did you like the PvP? Have you done anything else beyond what we played?
Selective history of the event. Okay. The first match. Where Ultron lived with some sliver of life. I don't know why. I forgot Ultron was there because of the selection screen, the way the draft works and stuff. But very interesting. I think you're right. There's a lot of potential here to make this competitive. There's plenty of opportunity to clean up, right? Because it's too unequal if it's all based on collection power.
Right.
And there's got to be a way to neutralize that so that it's somewhat fair. And a bit more of a level playing field. The draft alone, if you have 5, 6 red star characters, you don't have enough bans to protect yourself against that. So the one thing I know it hurt me as well on this mode is the fact that I auto so much in Blitz. The only time I play like real is mostly in Arena. That's the one that will get a focus, but there is a limited number of teams there, so you end up learning the fights. Mm-hmm. And then in War you have to do it, but again, it's pretty cookie cutter there. Blitz would be the only time there's variation like this, but I avoid playing it because I don't enjoy that mode as a thing to play. So I think it hurt me not really understanding a lot of the these unfamiliar teams. So I think that's going to be something that really differentiates different kinds of players, regardless of collection power, how much you understand of the game. And I think that's good. That's a good thing because that's what Blitz should be, but it isn't, where you try to figure these things out, but you don't because the punch-ups are just too much.
Right.
With unfair, like, tier 15 things that don't even exist. Versus this would be a more real. I think that's going to be very important as a test bed. Even though you don't have all the buffs, you can recreate, okay, I want to face your Asgardians that are way higher with Symbiote to see if I can learn the fight.
Right.
So anyway, a lot of potential here. I hope they keep working on it and take it to the next level. Yep.
I didn't like the last ban that they added it after you'd had 4 characters selected. That felt kind of weird. Mm-hmm. So you build this whole team, you built the master, you're going in a particular direction, and then you can just kill take out a character. It just felt really weird to me. I didn't like that. And then, as you said, there's probably not enough bans. Everybody's banning Phoenix, Black Bolt, Sinister, and then Ultron or Captain Marvel, and you only have the 3. So, but again, I like it. I think it has promise. So we'll see where it goes. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing it every day if it doesn't give any rewards.
Right, exactly. And then we'll complain that there's another thing to do. They just need to fix Blitz, and I think this would be great.
Yeah. And so, our alliance has embraced it. There were a ton of people playing it, not only that they came out, but continually playing it. We're even talking about doing a monthly alliance-wide tournament, just for fun, of course. But, there's a lot of potential there, so we'll see. Moving on in terms of the news, Ironheart fixed her battery, her power supply. She's now finally coming back into the game and making an official appearance. The data mines say she's going to be a Blitz, but that hasn't been confirmed yet. But she is officially coming into the game this month. She is expected, and this is still rumored, to make the power armor team a hard counter to Red Skull. Somehow, through her defense down mechanism, she gets through the immunity of Red Skull, and so we'll see. But she's coming. Then there was, at least from my perspective, some big confusion on Cole Obsidian. With the release notes, he wasn't listed as one of the playable characters coming, yet he's announced in the weekly blog post, and we got an in-game message saying he's coming in a blitz. So is anybody else confused? I don't know when this guy's coming. I need to sit down for it and look at the calendar. We've got the Taskmaster campaign coming. I don't think there's enough time in between Taskmaster and Ebony Maw, and they typically don't do a bunch of characters at the same time. So I still think he's June, but I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird for him to come after the Legendary, but I guess there's no reason to say, hey, he has to be in that order, right? So maybe it's something new. We get Ebony Maw first, then we get Call Obsidian after. We'll see.
So we'll have to see. And then, on Ebony Maw, he's officially out there, introduced. He was also part of the release notes is coming. We think his event is going to be on May 27th. What else? Corvus Blitz. You mentioned you had high rankings in Corvus Blitz. Surprisingly, the second Blitz is going on as we record, and in the reward tiers, all of them have shards. So not just the 1% and above. So this is fantastic. I don't know if this is coding error. I think as you suggested that they first had him as 100 shard unlock and not. But either way, I like it. It's fantastic. I don't have to push to 1%. So that's great. And then I think via one of the content creators, Dwartic, the guy that has the ridiculously strong symbiote Spider-Man, mentioned a new emulator, Android emulator called Mimu Play. And Frid, you introduced me to it. I think it's dramatically better than BlueStacks. Do you want to give some bullet points on that?
Yeah, so I heard it, and I've had my struggles with BlueStacks. Like I try to stream with it, and it's just way too slow to be enjoyable. I know my PC is what it is, so if I beefed it up, then maybe it would work. But then I said, let me give this one a shot, and it's like dramatically faster than BlueStacks was. Don't know much about this company. That's one thing to keep in mind. I'm not sure about the developer, but it was like I'm really enjoying now playing on my PC with an emulator, and I may try streaming more now that it's faster, and it'll be better experience for everybody.
Yep. So that's it's Mimu, MEMU, or Mimu Play, I think is the full name. Mm-hmm. I found it fantastically better and smoother. I haven't actually had any crashes, whereas BlueStacks would crash at least one blitz cycle and some other things. So
yeah, I think at a minimum, maybe it'll cause BlueStacks to kind of step up their game, and then maybe we can have options that are equal, right? This competition should drive that.
Yep. And then to close out the news, we still have not heard quite a few things, but we'll focus on Blitz. Still no automation of the matches. Where's the quality of life change that was talked about? Hint, hint. Still haven't talked about Blitz being a real beneficial game mode. Punch-ups are still ridiculous. They still haven't talked about how they broke the Blitz back during Quake and Karnak. And then, for everybody's reference, in case you were wondering, we'll probably only say it about 10 times an episode, Yo-Yo is still only in the premium orbs.
Not even in these covert orbs or whatever. Just can't do it.
Nope. All right, so with that, why don't we switch gears and run the numbers?
Yep, so as we always do when an event comes out, we are running the numbers to see what do you need to do in order to unlock Mr. Taskmaster, and how many nodes you need to run, how many core refreshes you need. One of the things that I noticed is the drop rates are a little bit higher, back to the Toad era, about 14% for Taskmaster. So the all-time low was Proxima at 10%. This is 14. For me, all the other characters are not very useful. I thought there was one that maybe was somewhat useful. Let me see. It was Karnak. Yeah, Karnak is in there. He's the only one that for me has some utility. Everybody else I had already pretty maxed out. So to summarize all the detailed calculations that we do, if you want to unlock Taskmaster, all you need to do is complete the hard campaign. You don't need to refresh the energy. You just use the energy that is granted to you for free and just do the nodes, and that's enough. If you want to get to 4-star, all you need is 1 energy refresh per day. That means one of the 50 core energy refreshes. That allows you to do like an extra node, and that theoretically should be enough. Then if you want to get to 5, like me, because you won your 5 red, maybe you have the 5 red star, you would need to do 7 energy refreshes, which is over 8,000 cores again. Or like it happened to me during Proxima, just have my luck, the Frid luck, and you can get to 5. So again, typical, if you do the 4 50 core refreshes here, you would only get to like the middle of 4 red stars, like 70 or 80 orbs. So if you want to get to 5, you need to push more. Or if you just want to get to 4 barely, do 1 refresh and save your cores. That's the advice that we have. Any thoughts here on the numbers? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I'm just not going to go for the 5 kind of intentionally. Maybe I'll get the Frid luck this time, but I'll stick to my 4 star and go from there.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we'll move on to our next section, and that is the Festivus.
And so while we're on, I forget what podcast episode we're on. I think we're on 12. We haven't explained what Festivus is since probably the first episode, and we now have more listeners. So I want to spend 2 seconds just talking about what the heck is this Festivus that Frid and Creative keep talking about. Festivus is a reference to a episode of Seinfeld in and around the Christmas time where George Costanza's dad came up with his own Christmas holiday, his own holiday in and around the Christmas time, and it's a hilarious episode, but ultimately it involves several interesting things, one of which is they have the family dinner and they have the airing of grievances, and he tells everybody that you've pissed me off for the year and I'm going to tell you all about it. And they have some other kind of funny things, and they throw in Kramer and all that. So Festivus is really just this reference to Seinfeld, and particularly the airing of grievances, and that's the little sound clip we play.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
So with that, Frid, I think you have a few things you want to talk about this week.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a new patch, 4.0, big, flashy, kind of big number, right? Going from 3 point something to 4.0. Very important release. And I think at the top of the list of the release notes on things that they fixed was that they fixed the overlapping pop-ups of the offers that I think Creative, you hadn't even noticed that this was a thing. And sure, it's the moneymaker and you want to make it elegant, but I don't even want to go through the list of things that need fixing that seem to should go ahead of something like this. And I was just going to mention it as okay, this is the first note on your biggest release in a while about overlapping pop-ups. It was basically when you would get how you claim Ultima's orbs? You get that pop-up to hit the claim button?
Yeah.
Like an offer would be on behind it, and you could kind of transparently see both, and it would look weird. So you could accidentally do the wrong thing. That's what it was. So it's fine that they fixed it, but there's other things that need fixing. I don't want to go through the list right now, but that was interesting. The other thing related to the update is that, I've always give Creative a hard time that he's using Android and they never get the updates as quickly or as smoothly as the iPhone users. And I think he finally switched to one, but he switched to an iPhone and they broke the update to the point that you couldn't play. Like, you would launch anything and the game would anomaly or crash, and then you couldn't do anything. And they acknowledged this. to their credit, within a day or so, they released a point zero one version. But I thought it was kind of funny that when the moment that you finally got your iOS device, they gave us a buggy update. What do you think of this, Creative, on their development cycles and how things are being rolled out?
Well, so I didn't have to do the uninstall and reinstall. I didn't have any issues, but it's a fairly new phone. It's on the latest chipset, and I assume you didn't have any issues either.
Oh no, I did.
Oh, you did.
It wasn't because of that. It was just the patch itself had issues, so I had to uninstall and reinstall.
Maybe I just did it right around the same time, so I got around
Maybe
it.
you first installed it. It was because the update works differently. It only sends the updated kind of bytes, and they've done this before, but I don't know what happened this time where it broke.
Okay. I thought I was just being special, and anyway, I thought it was just older iPhones, but apparently it was everything. So anyway, literally the day I switched, this happens, which is just too classic. But so, the quality has gone downhill, and you can hear from the content creators saying, oh, it's this, everybody from FoxNext is working from home due to COVID, and they just can't work as well. That's actually wrong. To be honest, I don't think a lot of people know all this and work maybe in technology, but it isn't that people are working from home. What really is likely happening is that India's been hit pretty hard with COVID-19, and many U.S. software companies actually outsource a large percentage of their testing and even some of their development to India. And the other piece that maybe people don't know is most of these U.S. companies don't allow remote access for those India people into secure areas like your code. You can only do it from a specific building that has a dedicated secure line back to the home office. And so, likely what's happened is that India and FoxNext's offshore testers can't test, and they can't get into the codes. They're probably running with a very lean testing group right now, and that's more likely the cause than anything else. They need to recruit Cerebro and some other people to go do some testing, I guess. There was a pretty funny video from OMG where he's like, doing his usual rant, and it's like, you now get to test and pay money and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty funny. But I think it's really just more of the COVID thing and the fact that they've probably lost a significant portion of their offshore testing capabilities.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, let's switch off of Festivus and into our conspiracy corner.
All right, so we have a very interesting one. I don't even know how much we should get into this, but there's a thing out there as it relates to all of these games that people have theorized around. And there was a new video that came out this week kind of reviving this idea. And it's known as seed theory. Seed as like something that you plant. The background for this is that all of these mobile games with micro and not so micro transactions, they actually employ PhDs that study behavior of human beings. And they have also learned from the gambling industry, slot machines, all that stuff, on pain centers and how much do I push somebody to frustration versus fun to get them to spend money effectively. And that's what these games do. Literally, they frustrate you or do things that get you to the brink that you're going to say, okay, I'm just going to spend the $10 on the Quantums just in case. So I don't have to sit here for 6 months waiting. And the way that they determine this on a game like this is looking at the actions that you take in the game. So some folks, and especially this content creator, Remenex, has kind of not studied, but tried a few things. And he says that the way he thinks about it is that you do things that are spending or leading up to spending kind of behaviors. And it all starts with spending about 400 to $500,000 gold on something. So, he unlocked Corvus Glaive, and he's like, I'm going to start this by spending some money. And that kind of sends a signal to the coding that, hey, this guy is ready to maybe do some spending. So what we're going to do is give him some good stuff. But the way to see if that's the case, and that's the good seed, is by opening orbs. And the idea is it doesn't matter which orb it is in his theory, as long as you open one of these orbs and you get the low percentages drops somewhere, those purples or golds that are, less than 2% or something around there, that means that you're now in a good seed. So the way he did it is you did that, then you go to the gold orb, open a few of those until you see one of those lower percentages one, and then go to the red star orb and open some of those, and you're going to see, according to this theory, an increase on your 4s and 5s. So I was like, I know Creative, you have followed this with another one that we'll talk in a second that kind of pioneered the idea, Big Roy. But I decided to try the Remenex method. And I went in, and my results on this is one time, right, that I did it was I got 2 million gold, so 2 drops of 1 million, separate occasions. I got a 4-star Groot upgrade, a 3-star Electra upgrade, and then Taskmaster, I got him to 4, and then you open the Elite 4, and I got a 5 Taskmaster. So then I started to think, is there something here? I mean, is this just RNG, or is there something more to it? So I'll turn it over to you, Creative, because I know you've tried the Big Roy method. Maybe you can describe it a little bit and kind of share your perspective there.
Yeah, in terms of your results of your red stars, the Groot upgrade, the Electra, how many red star orbs did you open?
Oh, shoot, I wish I capture this. Probably 20, something like that. And when you stop getting the good high ones, you go back. That's how I got the 2 million. You go back to the gold and see if you can pull something, because eventually you're out of the good seed, and the idea is you're going to get bad stuff, and then eventually you'll spend money, according to this, but you're trying to reset the seed. Yeah. Anyway, what do you think?
Yeah, the reason I asked that is that's going to be my disclaimer at the end here. So first, from a Big Roy awesome perspective, he does have a video on seed theory. He actually records him doing all the activities, and there's similarities. He was using the raid milestones and collecting those to reset the seed, whereas Remenex was spending around 400K to reset this infamous seed. And so with Big Roy's method, typically I go open gold orbs until I see at least a purple version. I didn't look for Big Roy talks about making sure you get a 1 million or higher drop, but I typically don't have the patience for that nor the luck. So I at least wait till I see purple, and I particularly like the middle. And once you're there, you're supposedly in this magical better seed, and then I go open red stars. As a general statement, I've been doing that now for several months, and I've had much better luck, but at the same time as also they have increased the drop rates of 3 and 4 red stars. So I don't know. I love a good conspiracy theory because the red star orb drop rates are so terrible. I need some sort of hope to feel better about it. But, ultimately, so Big Roy does the same thing, but he uses gold orbs. And he uses the raid milestones, whereas Remenex uses gold purchases to reset the seed if you're seeing the green drops. So I don't know. Lately, the Big Roy method hasn't worked for me. At the same time, we're typically opening 20 to 30 orbs. And so your chances of getting the marquee character or a better, a good drop goes up. So to me, the fact that we're opening 20 plus orbs is probably really it than anything else. I still want to try out Remenex's. Again, I'd love to see or have a way to game the system here just because the odds are so terrible. But I don't know. We'll see. I think we should just keep testing and kind of report back our results.
Yeah, I would say that the thing that you kind of convinced me because of your argument about I got to have something to hang on to that makes me believe that this could be better. Because if it truly doesn't make a difference, then at least you're doing something that you think it makes you believe that you're increasing your chances rather than just go straight. It's a little bit of extra work, but it's like a game within a game, and it's kind of fun to see if we can figure this out. So
yeah. The other thing I would say, Big Roy Awesome is a free-to-play player. He has gotten several red stars. Remenex is definitely not free-to-play. So the whole, there are algorithms that incentivize you to, once you purchase, and we joke all the time that you bought the quantums and now you see quantums. You've seen it like every day.
Every day.
So I know he puts money into the game, and therefore I think he's getting some of these bumps as well. But he does have a ridiculously high red star roster. So
I think that one about when you spend, you get a seed boost.
Absolutely.
It tries to recreate that without spending the money.
Yeah.
I gotta say, in his video, something he cuts away, and I think there's
TV.
I think there's some spending going on, but again, it's fine. I'm committed. This is not going to be the usual Frid one and done. I'm actually going to try to organize myself to do this every time I'm doing reds. Like now when Call comes out, we'll try it, or Ebony, we'll try it, and we'll report back.
Okay. So, Frid, we're running a little long because we've been having so much fun. In terms of remaining topics, why don't we just cover alliance management?
Okay, we'll do that.
And we talked last week a little about what we're rolling out internally within our alliance, and we've been testing. And we have a customized version of Zero Tools. We're using the MSF Tools bot, the tool bot, to get screenshots or submit our screenshots and get a roster spreadsheet. So I don't want to steal any of your thunder because I think it's super awesome and you've been doing awesome work there. Why don't you talk just a little more about that, how we're using it, and then maybe solicit some testers.
Yeah, so we've had internal testing within the alliance. Not too. I mean, we did 5 or 6, and we learn about some of the challenges. It's like anything else when you're trying it for the first time, especially the bot. It takes a few tries to get it to work properly, which is outside of anything that we're doing. But we do have instructions, and we've recorded some videos. We need to polish them up to put them out to get this out there. I have noticed it's gotten a lot better over the last few weeks. Like I can now quickly take on my phone 3 screenshots, load them up, take a quick look. Hey, I know I updated start tech for Mystics, so these Mystics changes explained by the start tech, and then I've been working on Inhuman, so you see those change, and it may miss like a level or two, but it's getting a lot better. And then we created linkages between the sheet that the bot produces and the roster organizer, so it automatically gives you all your new information, which is amazing. You can keep up with the roster. That's what we've been doing. Creative reviewed my roster kind of in real time and said, here's what you can do. So we're going to try to roll this out broadly to the alliance because it'll help us with alliance management as well. One other thing is that as we have created farming estimators and plans that we use with the alliance, they always say, can I get SIF to X stars? And we have these custom spreadsheets where we can go and plug in their numbers and tell them, yeah, you can make it by this date if you refresh the store X numbers of times. I took all that work that we had built and using some of the information created a farming estimator that regardless of where the character appears, arena or raid or a node, it will tell you, can you make a certain date? And when you add refreshes, which means you have to spend cores, it'll say, here's how many cores you would spend, but you would get to it by this date. And that's why I feel confident that I can get to Karnak and Crystal. Crystal especially because that's fixed. I'll get 15 every day because I have enough credits and I rank high enough in arena. But Karnak is more depending on how he drops. But if I refresh 2 times, according to my tool, it says that I can make it. So we'll continue to refine this with additional calculations because they're really helpful, high level, to put you in a position to say, can I even get to this point and what does it take? So we have that we've added. We're working with the developer of the roster organizer to see how we can collaborate and integrate all of these things. But for now, since we have a custom version, we would like listeners, if you want in on this participation and try out this tool, it's super alpha, but we would love to have you participate. So, head over to Discord or Twitter, or send us an email if you're interested in testing. Now, keep in mind, this is like testing, so it's gonna take some work. You may have some trouble with the bot. They have a lot of support over there. We're not signing up to like take you step by step through it. We do have a lot of instructions, and we'll try to engage, of course, but don't expect us to be tech support. But if you do find bugs, we would like to hear and see what results you get. Any thoughts here, Creative, on how you're using this, how it's working?
I think it's phenomenal. So you've done a ton of work. I've done a little bit of testing. So, Frid has done really, really cool stuff. I still haven't understood it all yet, but it's really cool. I love the MSF Tools bot. I update my roster almost every day, and you don't even need screenshots. You can actually just type in a couple quick commands and save it that way too. So when I level one character, I can do it. So the fact that that process is integrated to my roster organizer, and then that roster organizer is linked automatically into our alliance-wide roster organizer, I find it blows my mind how cool all this stuff is. So we'll definitely need to polish up our YouTube videos, make them kind of externally readily, and kind of roll that out. But I think it's super, super cool. I love the farming estimator as well. We use that stuff all the time. So fantastic work, Frid. I'm really excited for other people to see all the great work you've done there. And so, again, you can reach out to us on Twitter, rngendgame. Discord, we have the link to the Ragnarok public Discord in the podcast description. You can put comments on the Podbean page or send us an email at rngendgame. So we're a little bit longer this week. We're going to cut our topics here. Next week, we're going to go into Alliance War tactics and some of the responsibilities of the War Captain. And as always, if you have any listener suggestions, feel free to let us know. Thanks, everybody.
Talk next week. Bye-bye.